Hey guys, you may have seen the video that I dropped yesterday that was me playing through the Splatfest. I think it had way too many jump cuts, so I've decided to basically redo that video with a voiceover rather than it being the live voice thing. So with all of that intro stuff out of the way, let's get to the actual content. Let's get to the meat. So my first thought that I was having from this demo is that the Botanas are a very fun weapon. Like, they are incredibly fun. I can definitely see them being a weapon that a lot of people are going to enjoy. But the sort of problem that I've noticed with them is, well, I don't know if you'd really call it a problem. It's just the simple fact that they're hard to use. When Nintendo showed them off in that video, they really made it look like it's an easy weapon to use, but it definitely is not. It's something that you're going to want to practice playing with for a while when Splatoon 3 comes out. But it's like one of those weapons where it's like high skill ceiling, but once you get there, you're gonna kick ass with it, like, especially with the charge shot that insta-kills. Like, that is gonna be insane, especially in ranked mode. I'd imagine that would be ridiculous in tower control, if you can somehow get on the tower. I'm not a pro player, so I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but I do play some ranked mode here and there, and I can just imagine that that would be an effective weapon in ranked mode. The second thing that I noticed is it seems like Nintendo has modified this weapon, the stamp weapon. It seems like they've modified it to where it's easy to get kills with it. It could just be due to my lack of knowledge of the stamp weapon, because that's not a weapon that I use a lot in Splatoon 2. But I know every time that I used it, it seemed like it was almost impossible for me to get kills with it. But in this version of the game, like I said, it could be due to all of the new players. It could just be, I don't know, the stars were aligned in such a way that allowed me to get a lot of kills with it. But maybe they buffed it. Maybe it's something about the hitboxes. I have no idea. I'm not really an expert on that sort of thing. But yeah, I just had to mention that it seems like the stamper is just a lot better in this game. If you agree with me, let me know below, because I honestly don't know if I'm the only one that's thinking that. I could just be crazy, but something I've noticed. Another point that I was wanting to throw in here, a pretty obvious point, is that this game looks amazing. I remember reading something online, don't take my word for it, it could just be hearsay, but I read something along the lines of that this game is utilizing a feature of the Nintendo Switch that no other game has really been using. It's along the lines of high fidelity, something like that. I can't quite remember the name, but whatever this game is doing, it is doing it well. I mean, just look at this game, man. I don't even really have to break it down for you. Like, the colors pop way more. The textures just look like they're in such higher definition than anything we've seen from this console. The fact that this game can actually run at 60 frames per second, even though the graphics look this good, it's genuinely, like, impressive to me. See, I've been playing this game since it was on the Wii U, and if you see this footage here, I'm going to drop some footage in here of this game so you can see the comparison. It is night and day how far this franchise has come. So if you were hoping that Splatoon 3 would be just absolute eye candy, well, you're in luck, because this is definitely eye candy. The next point that I was wanting to bring up to you guys is the concept of simple conveniences. What do I mean by simple conveniences? Well, this is what I mean. In Splatoon 1 and 2, with the lobby system, it was pretty uninteresting, you know? You'd have to go into the terminal or go through the menu, and once you're in there, you'd select lobby or ranked battle. And once you're in, you're sitting there for 3, 4, 5 minutes just waiting for a match to start, which, you know, that's no fun. That's just kind of boring. That's how most multiplayer shooters do it, but Splatoon 3 is doing something different. When you go into the lobby, you're in the training room. You start in the training room, which I think is really smart, because I'd say most people, when you do your first match of your session of that day, you're a little rusty, you know, you're still getting used to the controls. Unless you're a professional player, you're probably fine, but the average person would like to get a grip on the controls before they start. So the fact that you're exposed to this training room every time you try to play a game, I think is a really cool change. I know people are going to take advantage of that. That's not where the conveniences end. So the terminal itself to get into battles is within this training room. So you walk up to this terminal and it's just instant. It just pops up with the list of modes, which I guess it's almost like of smoke and mirrors illusion because you did have to load into this training room before you could do that, but something about it feels so much more natural. It feels a lot smoother, and even queuing up for a match itself, you're not staring at a list of names. You get to stay in this training room, so you can sit there and practice your controls, practice your aim on these dummies. Once you have people to play with, it just goes to the match. It's so much more smooth. It's just this quality of life change that, while it might not seem like a big deal, if you're someone who plays Splatoon on a daily basis or every other day, or if you play it super often, it's gonna feel a lot nicer to deal with this sort of process rather than what we've had before. So that's one of the conveniences that I am glad that they added. The other thing, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to show in video form, but this game is a lot smoother. Of course, that makes sense. They've had since 2015 to perfect the Splatoon formula, but you're gonna have to play it for yourself to really understand what I mean by this, but it is a lot smoother. Like, this game is buttery. And I love it. It feels like everything has been fine-tuned to be more pleasant to play. Like, this game just is pleasant to play. That's the way that I feel about all of the Splatoon games, especially with Turf War. If I've had a long day, Turf War really is a nice thing to just kind of turn my brain off. Kind of similar to that whole power washing game that Markiplier's been playing, but yeah, everything about this game is just simple conveniences. They have not tried to reinvent the wheel. Like, if you have played Splatoon 1, if you've played Splatoon 2, you're gonna know how to play this game. Like, you're not gonna feel like, oh man, I have no idea what's going on. Sure, there's a couple mechanics that are new that could take some adjustments, that could take some practice to understand how to use them, but overall, this game is more pleasant to play. I think that sums up everything that I have noticed from this demo. I'll see you guys in another video. Peace out.